Listen, let's talk about something that might completely change how you see your twin flame journey. There's this incredible transformation that happens when you step into your divine feminine energy. And honestly, it's like flipping a switch that your divine masculine can't help but notice. I'm talking about a shift so powerful that it literally changes the entire dynamic between you two. Now, before we get into this, I need you to understand something important. When I say divine feminine, I'm not talking about gender. This isn't about being a woman or acting a certain way because society says so. The divine feminine is an energy that exists in all of us, regardless of who we are. It's about receptivity, intuition, nurturing, and flow. And the divine masculine? That's action, protection, direction, and structure. We all have both energies inside us, but in the twin flame dynamic, one of you typically operates more from the feminine energy and the other from the masculine. What I've seen happen time and time again is that when the divine feminine partner really steps into their power, when they make this energy shift we're about to explore, the divine masculine feels it. They feel it in their bones. It's like something in the universe clicks into place, and suddenly they can't stay away. They're drawn back, they're curious, they're different. So today, we're going to walk through exactly what this energy shift looks like and why it makes you absolutely magnetic to your divine masculine. We're going to cover 7 key transformations that happen when you truly embody your divine feminine power. And trust me, by the time we're done, you're going to see your journey in a completely new light. 1. You stop chasing and start attracting. Here's the first major shift, and it's probably the hardest one for most people. You stop chasing. You stop trying to convince your divine masculine that you're meant to be together. You stop sending those late night texts hoping for a response. You stop checking their social media every 5 minutes. You just stop. Now, I know what you're thinking. If I stop chasing, won't they just disappear forever? And here's the beautiful paradox of twin flame energy. When you chase, you push them away. When you stop chasing and start living your own life, you become magnetic. Think about it this way. The divine feminine energy is naturally magnetic and receptive. It doesn't chase, it attracts. It's like the moon pulling the tides. The moon doesn't run after the ocean, does it? No, it just exists in its power, and the ocean responds. That's what you're learning to do. When you stop chasing, you're telling the universe and your twin flame that you trust the connection. You're saying, I know what we have is real, and I don't need to force it. And that confidence, that trust, it's incredibly attractive to the divine masculine. The divine masculine energy responds to certainty and stability. When they see you're not desperate, when they see you're not falling apart without them, something shifts in them. They start to wonder what you're doing. They start to miss you. They start to feel that pull again, but this time it's stronger because you're not pushing them. This doesn't mean you become cold or indifferent. It means you redirect all that energy you were using to chase them back into yourself. You start building your own life, pursuing your own dreams, finding your own happiness, and paradoxically, that's when they start coming back around. 2. You heal your own wounds instead of waiting for them to fix you. This one is huge. So many people in twin flame connections fall into this trap of thinking their twin is supposed to complete them or heal them or make them whole. But here's the truth that changed everything for me when I finally got it. Your twin flame isn't here to heal you. They're here to show you what needs healing. When you make this shift in your divine feminine energy, you stop waiting for your divine masculine to come back and make everything better. You stop thinking that you'll finally be happy when they're ready for the relationship. Instead, you take full responsibility for your own healing. This means you look at all those wounds that got triggered in your connection. Maybe you have abandonment issues. Maybe you struggle with self-worth. Maybe you have trust issues from past relationships. Whatever it is, you face it head on. You work through it. You heal it. And here's what happens when you do this work. You become whole within yourself. You stop needing them to validate you. You stop needing them to prove they love you. You stop needing them to be anything other than who they are. And that shift in energy, your divine masculine feels it immediately. See, the divine masculine often runs because they feel like they can't meet your expectations. They feel the weight of all your hopes and dreams and needs, and it's too much. But when you heal yourself and become whole, you remove that pressure. You're not looking at them to be your savior anymore. You're standing in your own power, complete within yourself. This is when they start to feel safe coming closer. They're not afraid of drowning in your needs anymore. They can actually see you clearly for the first time. And what they see is someone who's done the work, someone who's strong, someone who's whole. And that's irresistible. 3, you embrace your intuition and stop overanalyzing everything. Okay, let's talk about something that trips up so many people on this journey: the constant analyzing. Why did they say that? What did that text mean? Why haven't they reached out? What are the signs saying? Round and round we go, stuck in our heads, trying to figure everything out logically. But here's the thing about divine feminine energy: it's not logical, it's intuitive. It flows, it feels. And when you make this shift, you stop trying to analyze your twin flame connection to death and start trusting your intuition instead. Your intuition is always speaking to you. Always. It's that quiet voice inside that knows things before your logical mind catches up. It's that feeling in your gut that tells you what's really going on beneath the surface. It's that inner knowing that guides you when nothing else makes sense. When you embrace your intuition, you stop needing answers to every question. You stop needing to understand every little thing your divine masculine does or doesn't do. You start trusting that you know what you need to know, when you need to know it. This shift creates this really beautiful sense of peace and confidence. You're not anxious all the time anymore because you're not trying to control everything with your mind. You're flowing with what is. You're trusting yourself. You're trusting the journey. And your divine masculine feels this shift too. They feel that you're not in your head all the time anymore. They feel that you're present, that you're calm, that you're centered, and that energy is like a breath of fresh air for them. They can finally relax around you because you're not constantly questioning everything or trying to pin them down with logic. 4, you set boundaries that honor your worth. Now we're getting into something really powerful: boundaries. This is where a lot of people struggle because they think setting boundaries means pushing their twin flame away. But actually, boundaries are one of the most loving things you can do, both for yourself and for your connection. When you step into your divine feminine power, you realize that you deserve to be treated with respect, love, and consideration. You realize that accepting breadcrumbs isn't loving yourself. You realize that waiting around forever for someone who isn't showing up isn't honoring your worth. So you start setting boundaries. Maybe that means you stop being available every time they randomly reach out after months of silence. Maybe it means you clearly communicate what you will and won't accept in the connection. Maybe it means you walk away when they're not treating you right, even though it hurts. These boundaries aren't walls. They're not punishments. They're clear statements about who you are and what you deserve. And here's the beautiful thing: the divine masculine respects boundaries. They might push back at first because they're used to you being available no matter what, but deep down, they respect you more when you respect yourself. When you have solid boundaries, you stop being a doormat. You stop accepting whatever scraps of attention they throw your way. You stop making excuses for bad behavior. And this shift in how you show up changes everything. Your divine masculine starts to see that you're not going to wait around forever. They start to see that you value yourself. They start to understand that if they want you in their life, they need to step up. And that realization can be the catalyst for real change in your connection. 5, you find joy and purpose outside the connection. Here's a shift that seems simple but is actually incredibly profound. You stop making your entire life about your twin flame. You stop putting your dreams on hold while you wait for them. You stop thinking that your life will start when they're ready. Instead, you start living right now. You rediscover or find for the first time what brings you joy. Maybe it's a creative pursuit. Maybe it's a career goal. Maybe it's travel or friendship or learning something new. Whatever it is, you pour your energy into it. You build a life that fulfills you, with or without your twin flame in it. This is divine feminine energy at its finest. The feminine creates, nurtures, and grows. When you channel that energy into your own life instead of obsessing over your twin, magic happens. You start glowing. You start radiating this energy of someone who's happy and fulfilled. You become more authentically yourself. And guess what? Your divine masculine notices. They notice that you're not sitting around pining for them anymore. They notice that you're out there living your best life. They notice that you seem happier than you've ever been. And suddenly, they want to be part of that energy. See, nobody wants to be someone's whole world. It's too much pressure. But everyone wants to be with someone who has their own world and invites them into it. That's what you become when you find your joy and purpose outside the connection. You become someone with something to offer, not someone who needs them to feel complete. 6. You release the outcome and surrender to the journey. This might be the most challenging shift of all, but it's also the most freeing. You let go of how you think things should happen. You stop trying to force a timeline. You stop obsessing over whether you'll end up together. You surrender. Surrender doesn't mean giving up. It means you stop fighting against what is. It means you accept that you can't control your divine masculine or the journey or the timing. It means you trust that whatever is meant to happen will happen, and you're okay either way. This is pure divine feminine energy. The feminine receives, allows, and trusts. It doesn't force or push or demand. When you truly surrender, you create space for the universe to work its magic. You create space for your divine masculine to make their own choices without feeling pressured. And here's what's incredible about this shift. When you're no longer attached to the outcome, you become free. You stop suffering. You stop riding the emotional roller coaster of hope and disappointment. You find peace in the present moment, regardless of what's happening with your connection. Your divine masculine can feel when you've surrendered. They can feel that the desperate energy is gone. They can feel that you're at peace. And that creates an opening for them to come closer without fear. They're not worried that you're going to trap them or demand things from them. They can explore the connection from a place of genuine desire instead of obligation. 7. You radiate self-love and wholeness. We've reached the final and most important shift. Everything we've talked about leads to this. You fall completely in love with yourself. Not in a narcissistic way, but in a deep, genuine, honoring way. You look at yourself with compassion. You treat yourself with kindness. You recognize your own worth without needing anyone else to validate it. This is the ultimate divine feminine power. When you truly love yourself, you become a beacon of light. You radiate this energy that draws people to you, especially your divine masculine. Because here's the secret about twin flames. They're mirrors. They reflect back to you what you feel about yourself. When you didn't love yourself, your divine masculine probably struggled to love you fully too. Not because they didn't want to, but because the mirror was reflecting your own lack of self-love. But when you shift into genuine self-love, everything changes. The mirror can finally reflect that love back to you. Self-love means you take care of yourself. You prioritize your well-being. You speak kindly to yourself. You celebrate your wins. You forgive your mistakes. You honor your needs and desires. You become your own best friend, your own supporter, your own source of love. And when you're full of love for yourself, you overflow with love for others. But it's a different kind of love now. It's not needy or desperate. It's abundant and free. You can love your divine masculine without needing them to love you back in a specific way. You can appreciate the connection without clinging to it. This shift is magnetic on a level that's hard to describe. Your divine masculine will be drawn to this energy like nothing else. Because everyone wants to be around someone who loves themselves. Everyone wants to experience that kind of confident, radiant, peaceful energy. And when you embody it, you become irresistible. So here's where we are. These 7 shifts in your divine feminine energy create a total transformation in how you show up in your twin flame journey. You stop chasing and start attracting. You heal yourself instead of waiting to be fixed. You trust your intuition over your anxious mind. You set boundaries that honor your worth. You build a joyful life outside the connection. You surrender to what is. And you love yourself completely. Each of these shifts makes you more magnetic to your divine masculine, but more importantly, they make you free. They make you whole. They help you become the person you were always meant to be, with or without your twin flame. Your twin flame journey isn't just about being with this person, it's about becoming who you really are. It's about stepping into your power. It's about healing and growing and evolving. And when you focus on that, when you focus on your own transformation, everything else falls into place. Trust yourself, trust the journey. Trust that as you step more fully into your divine feminine power, you're creating the space for your divine masculine to step up to. And no matter what happens, you're going to be okay. Because you're whole within yourself, you're complete, you're powerful, and you're exactly where you need to be.